Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. Live Music Nation podcast, festival edition. Today we're Scott Hooner. Am I saying that name last night?
Hunter.
Hunter, I just wrote it down wrong. What a goofball. Los Altos Village Association. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, Jake.
Scott, give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your business career, and then we'll jump into the number of events that you host throughout the year.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Sacramento. And career-wise, I would say I'm currently on what I would consider my third career. I originally was a newspaper reporter in Sacramento. I did a lot of entertainment reporting. Part of that was also covering video games. And when the newspaper I worked for went through transition and downsized, I transferred over and started working on video games because I knew some people in the industry. I was able to get in there. I did some testing. I did some designing. I was around the time of the dawn of the PlayStation. And worked my way through a few different places in Silicon Valley within the games industry, and then went through the Great Recession that I think we all went through a few years back, and found myself looking to do something else, and transitioned into working with small businesses and with a business association, and that's kind of how I end up as a executive director here, running what is essentially our downtown business association.
All right, great. Let's jump into some of your events. Let's talk about your big summer and fall events.
Sure. So big summer event is our Art and Wine Festival. It's the second weekend in July every year, COVID notwithstanding. And it's a 2-day event. As I said, 8th and 9th of July. It's big outdoor. We have downtown here is split into two main streets. One is Main Street, the other is State Street. They meet in a triangle. We have artists all over the place. We have 2 stages. Actually, I should say we have 3 stages if you consider all our kids' entertainment of music during that festival, but also a number, as the title may tell you, we have a number of wineries that are there as well. And then, we, as far as big fall festivals go, in this town where there was a fall festival a few years back that was managed by the Chamber of Commerce. We have not really replaced it since they stopped doing it a few years back. We do have other smaller events. We do strolls here in town. So we do wine strolls and beer strolls and bubbly strolls and holiday strolls. Basically things that draw people into downtown, not just to enjoy what we're offering as part of like beer or wine, but also to visit the retailers, to visit the restaurants, to see what we're all about. And that all of those also include music components. We have a number of smaller groups that we work with, that we place in strategic spots around town. So if you're strolling around, suddenly you might come upon a band.
So I think you summed it up there good. Really, your job, Scott, is to get people into that downtown as often as you can and to get them moving. When you said strolling, I thought, well, maybe this is a city who wants to increase the exercise activity of their citizens. But your real goal there is to get those people moving throughout that downtown area, throughout your business association, and get them in the doors of those businesses. And that's fantastic. That's exactly what you should be doing. Now, to the listener who has never been to Los Altos, they come to this wine festival. Let's get a little more specific. I got a pretty good visual. I always ask these next 2 questions. What are they going to smell? What are they going to hear? And by smell, I mean foods, what's in the air. And by smell, what kind of music, what different tastes are they going to experience?
What kind of smell? So this is an outdoor festival, a big outdoor festival. So if you're thinking, outdoor festival food, everything, from corn on a stick to empanadas, to prepackaged foods like honey or there's frozen espresso that we had last year. So I think smells, you're going to smell a lot of what I would call festival foods.
Yeah, perfect.
And then music wise, as I said, we have 3 different stages. The kids zone stage is a lot of local magicians and kids entertainment. We have a couple that has managed our stage for a number of years here. They're a staple on local television, or had been for a number of years, running the Kids Zone. But the other two stages are really an eclectic mix of different types of bands, though they are our main stage is a little bit more plugged in, and our community stage is a little more plugged in yet acoustic, let's say. So the smaller either duos or trios are on our community stage, and then our main stage is our bigger bands. And we do have a couple. I mean, our the House Rockers is a local band that plays a lot of different festivals here, and I believe there's 12 members because they've got a horn section and everything else. So there's a big band up on that stage. And then music-wise, it's across the board. We do try to kind of pick genres between things. So we'll have a country act, we'll have a classics act, we'll have a dance act, and try and spread that out over the 2 days of entertainment. There's 3 to 4 depending on the time frame, number of acts on each stage each day.
Perfect. Scott, what is the best part of your job?
The best part of my job, when I can look out my front window here, or actually attend any of our events and see the people that are there. And I think one of it might sound weird, but one of the things I like hearing, and we hear, unfortunately far too often, is, "Hey, I didn't know this was here."
Yeah.
And that's kind of a reaction that we like to know. Now you do know it's here. And obviously you enjoyed the fact that it was here, and you came either for our festival or whatever. So I like the kind of knowing that we've brought people in and introduced them to a really quaint little downtown area.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, Scott, always ask these 2 questions at every podcast I do, because I am in live music and live entertainment full time. So what is the best concert you've ever seen in your entire life?
The best concert I've ever seen in my entire life was Pink Floyd in Sacramento at a stadium, a city college stadium called Hughes Stadium. And they had everything set up, from the giant flying pink pig that came in from outside the stadium to the full light show and everything.
Oh, wow.
I would say in terms of stage production and just kind of the general atmosphere, because it was as I said, it was a city college football stadium. So, we're not talking big time sports. This is a smaller, maybe 16,000, more like, your nowadays soccer stadiums.
Sure.
Or the U.S. soccer stadiums. So it was, an outdoor yet intimate with very, a huge amount of stagecraft. So I thought about that for a while, and
yeah,
I've seen a lot of stuff, and, that's the one that sticks in my mind.
That's awesome. All right, next question. You could bring any musical act, dead or alive, to your hometown. Who would you bring?
To my to hear actually no, to the festival, let's say, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, that's an even tougher one. I would probably say the Stones.
Oh, perfect.
Because I think there's probably a number of acts that would bring people in, but I'm also thinking, okay, what act might I be able to advertise and bring in the most crowd?
Yeah.
And so I do like the Stones, and I've seen them a couple of times. Love to see them again, but I think I'm thinking that'd probably bring in a pretty decent sized crowd.
That'd be perfect. Scott, this is the portion of the show where you get to ask me any question. What question would you ask?
So you're doing this is a festival podcast, or it's actually a festival theme to your podcast. Why? How did you reach out here to a small town on the San Francisco Peninsula?
Sure. Well, since COVID, everybody wants to get back out, and they want to experience new things. Some of it's out of fear. What if we have another virus? Blah blah blah. They want to get in as much as they can. And so as much as I enjoy festivals and meeting new people, really felt like that the average listener would want to do that. And just like you said, there's people that come to your town and see a shop or a business they didn't know that existed. There's people that will listen to this podcast and they were like, "Hey, we're going to be in California. We got to go check this out." And it gives them something new to do that. So really that's kind of where the whole festival concept is something that I enjoy. And then, of course, the research is just phenomenal when you factor in social interaction into health conditions and what it does for people. I know that it makes me feel better. I didn't necessarily know why it did, but we know we're spending more research money and dollars on why it was so important. And yeah, so that's spot on for me. Why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I think we had success coming back from COVID. We rescheduled our. We actually had a virtual event in the first year, but our first year back, we rescheduled for later in the summer. And a lot of that was, people looking to get out because they're a little stir crazy. But we also made sure that they also felt safe and it was an environment that, they could get out in and at least not have the worries that had been going on.
Yeah.
So I see that too, for sure.
Yep. Scott, how do we find out more information about the Los Altos Village Association, your summer events, and other events throughout the year?
Sure. So the easiest way is go to our website, which is downtownlosaltos.org. You can also follow us on Instagram. We're at DT Los Altos. And each of those things are Liz, my compatriot here in the office, takes care of all our social media stuff, and you'll be able to follow what we're doing here year round. All
right. Very good. Scott, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it.
All right, Jake, thanks for having me on. Have a great week.
You bet. Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of